Hey buddies, welcome back to the channel. In the previous video, we covered all the short question answers from the chapter. I hope you have studied and revised them well. Today we are moving on long question answers from the chapter The Last Lesson by Alphonse Daudet. So let's begin. First, the last lesson reflects the flaws in human character that led to the sad plight of people in Alsace. Justify your answer with the evidence for the text. So, answer. The last lesson by Alphonse Daudet is a story set in the days of France and Prussian War 1870-71, depicting the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine passing into Prussian hands. The story delineates an ironical state where the loss of a language and culture occurs due to war and political conflicts. Sometimes it's not just the political issues that bring the plight of people, but also the flaws in human character that add to the sad plight of the weak. Being conquered by the mitre. With the depiction of the character of the protagonist, France and the older generation of the village people, it's made very obvious that the human tendency of procrastination is one of the biggest flaws that leads to self-destruction. France, as a young boy who prefers outdoor life to his French lessons, realizes the importance of his language when it comes too late when he was about to lose it. A chill runs down his spine when he comes to know that it was his last French lesson and he's left with nothing to repent. His parents prefer to put him to work at a farm or a mill to earn a little more money, and M. Hamel himself sending his students to water his plants on giving them an off just to enjoy fishing. To sum up, the lesson portrays how significant it is to preserve one's own language and culture, and knowing your language is like owning your key to being forever free. Thus, no one would ever dare to enslave you. Second, though tempted by the bright day, Franz stated that he had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. As the story progresses, the reader realizes that Franz M. Hamel and the villagers would perhaps needed the strength to resist. Much large forces discuss how the story provides strategies for resistance and protection of one's identity and community through its events and characters. Provide relevant textual details to support your argument. Answer. As the story opens, Franz seems to be surrounded with various temptations, but he overcomes them and follows the path of being dutiful. This happens due to fear, yet he decides to pay heed to his responsibility of being a learner the super superphysical. As he reaches school, he gets the shock of his life to know that M. Hamel has to leave, and it's his last French lesson. Franz keeps ignoring his teacher and his lesson throughout, but the end the teacher explains the power our mother tongue possesses, and not knowing it brings a greater shame to all the countrymen. M. Hamel clarifies that it's significant to rise above our petty purposes. For villagers, it was about their preference to send their children to farm or mill for money, and for M. Hamel expecting his students to water his garden. The defeat of France at the hands of Prussia is a lesson for everyone, including the villagers, to be patriotic, respect and learn your own language, and take pride to belong to your own land. M. Hamel's departure proves to teach everyone to stop procrastinate, as one can't rely on tomorrow. Never put off learning till tomorrow, as a language is the weapon that ensures that you are slave to none. The class may be dismissed, but not your freedom to learn your own language. Third, what did M. Hamel teach his students in his last lesson? What impact did it have on his students? Answer. In his last lesson, M. Hamel first talked about the way of some of the students and the villagers had been neglecting the learning of their language. But he didn't blame anyone but showed a lot of understanding. Unlike his usual self, he was kind enough to acknowledge his laxity towards teaching his students regularly. Then he talked of the French language, saying it was the most beautiful language in the world. He told his students that they must guard their language among them and never forget it. Thereafter, he opened the grammar book and read to them their lesson. He explained everything with patience. After the grammar, they had a lesson in writing. That day, M. Hamel had new notebooks for the students, written in a beautiful round hand. France, Alsace, France, Alsace. All the students learned to their teacher and wrote on their notebooks very quietly and attentively. Franz had never understood his lessons so well. He, who had never before any inclination to learn the language, grew sentimental about it. This is your last French lesson. These words from his teacher were a great thunderclap to Franz. He felt sorry for neglecting his lessons and developed a sudden love for his books and M. Hamel, who was otherwise considered very cranky. Fourth, how was the last lesson from the usual lessons taught on other day? Describe the last lesson. Usually, when school began, there used to be a great bustle. The noise could be heard out in the street. But on the day of the last lesson, everything was as still as Sunday morning. Little Franz was very nervous that the teacher would scold him for being late, but nothing happened. M. Hamel sounded very soft and affectionate. The teacher was wearing his formal dress that he usually put on inspection and prize days. To Franz, the whole school looked strange and solemn on that day. There were some villagers sitting on the backbenches that were normally empty. Everyone looked very sad. The teacher addressed the class and reminded them of their mistakes. He blamed the students for not showing real interest in their studies, and parents for not sending them to school regularly, and himself for sending teachers to do other jobs, and he taking leave on working days to go for fishing. However, on the day of last lesson, they had no time to be wasted, and they all paid full attention to what was taught in the class. He reminded them of the importance of learning the language and hoped that it would enable them to stand against the oppressors during the course of time. The teacher became very emotional and didn't get words to bid farewell. He wrote on the blackboard, "Vive la France," and made gestures that the school was dismissed. Fifth, the relationship between the teacher M. Hamel and Franz had two different phases. Substantiate with references to the next. Answer: M. Hamel was a teacher who cared deeply for Franz in his own way. M. Hamel taught Franz grammar, writing, and history of saints. M. Hamel disciplined his students with an iron ruler. Franz sometimes disappeared from the class to avoid his lessons and play outside. But on M. Hamel's last day, the relationship changed. He was more kind and more understanding that day. He didn't scold Franz for being late or answering incorrectly. He explained his lessons with utmost care. Of Franz, on his part, took M. Hamel's studies more seriously since it was going to be stopped soon. He now regretted not turning up for class more often and learning more. So, today we have completed 5 long questions from the last lesson. Revise them all and don't forget to tell me in comment what you would like to do next. RTC summary or some important questions. So stay tuned, take care. See you guys in the next video. Bye.